welcome to World Cuisines with Chef Steve, yours truly. Today's program is going to show you a very common recipe, a very common street food, Vietnamese street food called bánh xèo or Vietnamese crepes. Today I have Shane with me, who is a culinary student. He'll be assisting me in this fabulous creation that I hope you will be able to do at home. Okay, so Shane, how did you get involved in culinary?
I just enjoy cooking and everything like that, and especially these Asian cuisines, they're just very intricate with different kinds of foods, and I just wanted to get more into that. And Chef Steve, I just want to know, how did you get into Vietnamese cuisine?
Well, we had a French restaurant before, and we were able to be creative with that French restaurant. So we went French colonial, which of course includes Vietnam, Algeria, Haiti, Senegal, and different locations where the French had their influence and so on. So we were blessed to be able to do Vietnamese cuisine at this particular restaurant. Okay, so for today's batter, basically it's a batter, and this particular batter is the batter for the crepe itself, and it consists of coconut milk, rice flour, turmeric, and pre-soaked mung beans, which are then ground up. So it's a very simple batter. The batter will cook very quickly. When we pan the batter here, we'll actually add our ingredients to it. Now we have pork, okay? It's a seasoned pork that we're going to be using in our batter itself. We have shrimp, okay? It gives a different flavor. It gives us a different traditional flavor. We have bean sprouts, okay? So the bean sprouts, of course, give us our crunchiness and, of course, our greens that we're supposed to have. Now, you can make a vegetarian variety of this. We're going to go with the traditional variety here, so keep in mind it's very flexible. We also have fresh herbs that we're going to be using today, and the herbs are basil, cilantro, and mint. Very traditional herbs that we're going to be using for the finishing of the crepe. And then finally, Shane will show us how we consume it with our lettuce leaves and so on. So let's go ahead and begin and go ahead and make a crepe here. Let me make sure my stove is hot enough here. Okay, so I'm going to add a little oil.
Chef Steve, how hot should the pan be before they start making this dish?
Okay, you don't want it to smoke. Okay, what you want is to let the oil be able to roll around very freely. You can see that's rolling around relatively freely there. Okay, you don't want to swim in oil. This, by the way, this is a traditional French crepe pan. So you could use a stainless steel pan. You could use a traditional pan that you might have at home. I tend personally not to use non-stick pans, but you can. So let's get a little of that batter here, and we'll make our first crepe here. Okay. So the crepe itself should cook very quickly. Okay. Initially, I don't want to put too much batter in here. I want to put enough just to cover the pan. I'm going to go ahead and roll this around to get my desired diameter here.
Wow.
Okay. You can see how freely that's going around.
Yeah.
Okay. So the crepe cooks very quickly. Unlike a French crepe, we cook this on one side. I'm going to add my shrimp in here. Okay. And they'll cook in there with the crepe itself. I'm going to add a little pork. And the pork is pre-cooked, seasoned with a little nam nak or fish sauce, a little bit sugar, and a little bit chili. I'm going to add my bean sprouts here. Okay, just a little bit bean sprouts there. Okay. Now, I'm also going to add some freshly cut green onions. As you see here, we're cutting these at a small, sharp chiffonade angle. Okay,
is there a reason for that specifically, or how small it should be?
Yeah, actually it is, because you want it to be able to facilitate cooking very quickly. Okay, so this cooks very quickly, as you see here.
It's already burning.
Well,
I mean,
it's just getting done. That's
Perfectly fried. Yes.
Right. Just getting done here. Okay. So it's a very fast process here. You can see the crepe is coming together here. I'm going to go ahead and let that sit for a minute. Okay. At this point, I could also cover it depending on how hot my fire is. I'm going to turn it down a little bit here. So, again, basically, we take our mung beans for the batter. We pre-soak these. You can find these at any local Asian store, usually like Ranch 99 or Marina Foods and so on. Turmeric, you find that at Indian stores and some Asian stores. Here's our Thai chilies that we're going to be using in our sauce. Okay. We have our rice flour. Rice flour, if you're not going to use a lot of it, you could actually make it yourself. So what you could do with rice flour, you could take some rice, put it into pepper grinder or food grinder, electric food grinder, and grind it up and make rice flour.
Does it have to be rice flour, or is there any other types of flours that, if you just happen to be lacking?
Traditionally, it's rice flour. You could probably get by using 3/4 white wheat flour and 1/4 cornstarch. But traditionally, it's rice flour with it. Now, the important part, as you see, is the coconut cream here. Okay, the coconut cream. You want to get a good quality coconut cream as opposed to coconut milk. That's really important as well. So if you want to show them that that particular coconut cream is what you want to use for this particular dish here. Okay. So again, the herbs that I want to add with this, if you could hand me some herbs there, I'm going to use basil. I'm going to use cilantro. Okay. And I'm going to use some mint. Now there's a few other Vietnamese herbs that are not always available year-round, and they also place it here as well. And you feel free to experiment for different types of herbs that you may enjoy, you may want to try and taste, and so on. Okay. The other thing that you can add to this is mushrooms. Okay. Sliced mushrooms are traditionally found. Okay.
Should this be cooked, or is it usually eaten
No,
raw?
you want to saute this with the crepe itself. You want to let it cook, saute it with the crepe itself. So. That's another way of just adding another dimension of flavor, if you will, for the crepe itself. So, is this something you feel like you could accomplish right at home?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
This is, actually, you said it's a street food.
This is street food, and this is street food is there's a variety of different street foods in Southeast Asia. The ones I enjoy the most are from Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia. I put together a small little collection of recipes here that I'll share with you a little later. The important thing is that when you see this, you'll see this at a food stall. Very commonly done at a food stall, and it will be available fresh. They'll make it on the spot. You have a choice of different vendors, of course. So it's something that's very quickly, as you can see, is made very quickly, and it's consumed right there in front of the stall.
Right in the stall, so you don't need anything else, or
exactly.
It's not eaten with a fork and a knife, then.
Right, exactly. So traditionally, the way we eat it is we take. Let me move some of these elements out the way here. We take our lettuce. Okay. You want to move that out the way. And we roll these guys up in a bed of lettuce, or like a small taco, if you will. Okay. So I will take my crepe, okay, pan this up.
So how do you know when this crepe is done?
Well, you can see, like as you mentioned, it was cooking very quickly. It browned very quickly. Okay. So what you definitely want to do is you want to test this. Okay. You want to test your pan. So you may need to make one crepe without anything in it, just to test the pan and so on. Okay, to make sure that it has the correct heat temperature and so on. Okay, you also want to make sure your oil content is correct as well. Okay, we're using a peanut oil here, which is a high smoke point, so it's not going to smoke on it. It's not going to burn on us like, for example, canola oil or olive oil. So it's a great oil to use. Peanut oil, very versatile.
Is that the only way though? Because a lot of people tend to have peanut allergies, and
that's a very good point. That's a very good point, Shane. And so you want to be aware of that as well. Obviously with the shrimp as well, so I would ask someone if they have particular allergy before you prepare this dish. And so, and of course, some people may not be accustomed to eating pork, or that may not be something that they desire to eat. And again, totally vegetarian. You can go totally vegetarian with this and be flexible with it. Okay. Now you can actually they make them a lot larger than this, and they place it on a table and people share it. Okay. So if you go to for a traditional Vietnamese restaurant, you will see them actually serve it in a large platter with all the lettuce leaves and have it available for them. Now, this is our traditional dipping sauce. Okay.
Can you tell me what it's made of?
Sure. This is made with nam noc, or fish sauce, Vietnamese fish sauce.
So it's not just fish sauce.
It's not just fish sauce. It's about a quarter fish sauce. It's about approximately a quarter rice vinegar. And then we have little water in there, Thai chilies, and a little sugar. Okay. It's not very complicated at all to make. It's something very easy to make and so on. So the traditional way of plating this is to have it available, as you see here. You can have it as an appetizer. You could do it as an appetizer, or you can do it as a main entree. Okay. So how would you like to make one?
I think not for the show, but I would love to make it at home. And it would be great, And right now, honestly, I just want to eat this.
Sure. Sure. So it's very easy to make. Again, it's I will show you how to go ahead and how we actually plate this up. We what we want to do with this is I want to take a piece of this, okay, put it into one of the lettuce leaves, okay.
Let me get
As you
a
see
little
here.
pork in there.
All right. You like the full flavor, I see.
Yes.
Okay. So that's usually rolled up, not very different from a taco. Okay. Red lettuce leaves, green lettuce leaves are very commonly used. Here's our dipping sauce. Okay. So it's something that you will enjoy, your family will enjoy it. Matter of fact, we made this for a house party not too long ago. People never had it before, and they really loved it. So it's something that you can enjoy and try yourself. And again, feel free to experiment, different herbs, different ingredients for the filling and so on, and different types of lettuce leaves and so on. Okay.
All right, let me devour this.
All right. All right. Enjoy. So feel free to give us a call, ask us questions, hit our website. We'll have this available for you. The recipes are also available online at gourmandland.com. So you will have a chance to revisit this and save a copy for yourself. How is it? I see you're not talking too much, Shane.
Let me finish.
Okay, all right, all right. You don't have to go out and buy an expensive crepe pan. I happen to have this one here. I use it for other types of cooking as well. You could feel free to use a standard skillet, okay? Again, I prefer not to use non-stick skillets, but if you have one of those, you can keep it at a low temperature and so on. The main thing is to get it hot enough so it'll brown, it'll crisp very fast.
So it's supposed to cook very fast.
That's correct. That's correct.
It should not be on a pan for a long time.
And that said, another important issue is that you want it to serve it very fast. You don't want this to be sitting too long on the plate. You don't want to go ahead and eat that immediately. As soon as it comes out off the pan, you want to fill it and use it immediately. So hopefully people can join us for another episode of working culinary arts with Chef Steve. We're going to be able to, and then you'll be on the hopefully you'll be on the program again, and join us for something else. Yeah. Maybe next time you'll bring something from your classes and be able to demonstrate.
Maybe we'll switch roles. I'll be the one cooking.
Right. All right. So hopefully you will be able to join us at the next event. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. So this is traditionally how it's done. I mean, this is not too much different.
And clean up the stove and cook and deal with all the burns.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, I'm Robert Rich, and we are here with Chez TJ owner, George Aviette. And Chez TJ is a bit of a famous restaurant here in Mountain View. It's been around for 30 years almost, and one of the first restaurants in the Bay Area to get 2 Michelin stars.
Well, thank you. Yes, Robert, it's nice to be here and talk about Chez TJ. I think one of the things that I've always been questioning myself, has it been really 30 years? It's just because time goes so fast, and working somewhere that you love doing what you're doing, then you just never look at the clock or date. You just keep going and keep going and keep going. And that's one of the things that has always given me that sort of key to success.
When you started out in 1982,
that's right.
The namesake of the restaurant, Tom McColby, was the chef.
He was my chef and business partner. Mm-hmm. 2 of us, along with our ex-wives, started the restaurant, and we had this idea of creating a destination restaurant per se, and just because his love for food was so much, and I got attached to his ideas and his creation, that we together started the restaurant, and we started bringing people from all over the Bay Area. If not at one point in 1987, when we were reviewed in Gourmet magazine, we became internationally well known.
And at the time, the culinary landscape in the South Bay was hardly peppered with high-end restaurants. This must have felt a little lonely.
Well, it was. It was funny because even with the name Chez TJ, a lot of people were questioning, where does this name come from? And what is it, Chez Tijuana? What is that, the meaning?
Yeah.
Even though we had Japanese in Berkeley, which is another mark of the Bay Area that has been there for so long, with Alice Water being one of our great chefs of Bay Area. Chez TJ was determined to create a place that people can come and enjoy a fine food and sort of a creative food, and someone who puts his heart and love into cooking. And that's what really attracted me, because it reminded me of my grandparents, where food was, as I mentioned earlier, a cultural thing that we gather and we enjoyed eating and sitting in there and talking about food and talking about life with food, where it's missing in here. And now I think generation has changed. People are more understanding of fine dining, cuisine, and creating that ambiance that people can feel comfortable and enjoy a good meal.
When you started out, did you have to do a lot of educating to the clientele?
Education is ongoing, and more you learn, there's more to know.
Do you find that the customers nowadays know more about different styles of cuisine and the sort of art food that you present to them?
Definitely. I think the culture has a lot to do, education has a lot to do, even though we're living sort of a melting pot with so many different cultures and so many different people with a different cuisine, different background. I think more and more people are aware of their health, more and more people are aware of what they're eating and where they can go and find a good food. And of course, Chez TJ is a little bit unique in the sense of creation aspect of it, but the ingredients are the best ingredients possibly we can get from our local producers or local vendors, and of course we have our own garden, which we get a lot of herb from.
And the garden forces you into a sort of seasonal pattern of serving what's fresh this month, this season.
Correct. And that's one of the things that a good restaurant would always pay attention. What's in the season and what's in garden that is growing the best time of that particular plant or trees to produce. Go ahead.
About how much of your cuisine is served from the backyard there?
Well, not as much now because of the winter time, but in the summertime we get a lot of our fresh vegetables from carrots, beets, turnips, and then we have lots of lettuce that is growing, mostly a lot of herbs that we have growing right now, winter herbs and winter vegetables. We have a couple of fruit trees that it's really nice to go and pick up a beautiful lemon. This is California, and there's a lot of beautiful things that they grow in this land.
And we have so many good months to grow things here.
We do.
Must be not so difficult to find vendors that can deliver from nearby farming areas?
Well, that's true. In Mountain View, if you know, we have that beautiful once-a-week farmers market.
It's one of the best in the Bay
My
Area.
chef goes in there all the time, and it brings in a lot of beautiful vegetables, beautiful fruits, bread, you name it. And it's so good to have that locally grown and locally produced that we can bring in and serve it on our menu and be proud of them.
Now, you mentioned a moment ago the ethnic diversity of the population around here and how that informs people's knowledge of food styles. Yet there can be a challenge with ideas of fusion cuisine, especially in the context of French cooking.
Right.
Your current chef is Japanese American and obviously has certain Japanese influences.
He does. But again, if you really think about food, and the fundamental of aspect of the food for us is an excellent product that you put on a plate. Creation part of it, you can educate people by having them to come and enjoy it. Everyone loves a good Indian food, everyone loves a good Chinese food, and everyone loves a good French food. Although I think with having the diversity of this different cultural integration in this valley, we have to be aware of that, and we have to infuse a little bit of different sort of ethnic food. But let's not forget that we still have that French background.
Do you think that there is a local cuisine? Is there a Bay Area food?
Oh, I think so. I think Northern California is becoming of its own cuisine. And of course, with Alice Water having the slow food movement and creating a local farmers' menus and dishes, there is always a great aspect of this Northern California that we have a lot of things from Sonoma Valley, Napa Valley, you know, and even in our now I forgot the valley food place in the San Joaquin Valley.
San Joaquin, yes.
So I think that there is a potential to have the Northern California cuisine.
It's been a passion for me as a person who grew up in this area to find you know, the ingredients that are specific to our area or very special, things like Blenheim apricots or
Right.
Dungeness crab,
Right.
you know, squid off the coast and things. And I remember Chris Costa, one of the great chefs that have passed through Chez TJ, and the one who was gifted with the 2 stars, the Michelin stars.
Now he has 3 stars.
Now he has 3
He's
stars.
only the 2 other restaurants in the state of California
Fantastic.
that have received
Yes.
3 stars. He's at the Meadowwood Country Club in Napa.
Yes, he would have an amazing appetizer that was a grilled baby octopus,
Right.
just in the
Oh,
center.
that
of
was
the
a
stage.
delicious dish.
Amazing.
He really used to do that, and that was fantastic. I'll never forget that. And that's one of the things Chez TJ has really done well, is to bring in great chefs, unknown, and then giving them that platform to shine and bring in to me and to our clients wonderful ideas, a wonderful new creation of the food that they have, you know, joyfully done.
You've had an amazing set of chefs coming through your doors and working for several years. Sometimes, I guess, well, Tom McCombie was there until he passed away in 1994, right?
That's right.
And then until about 1999, Andrew Trice was
Right.
bringing a very rustic, very deep sauces and infused flavors, much more traditional French cooking, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, and I never forget that. Although I think that my idea is to always learn about what's new and what's the next chef is going to bring to our restaurant.
After Andrew, I guess Kurt Bruderer brought things into a slightly more local
That's
cuisine.
correct, and a slightly more of a higher sort of bistro style.
Yes, yes. And then in the 2000s, you had Joshua Skeens and Chris Costo that totally
That's right.
amped
It
up.
changed.
Oh,
Totally changed our style of the food. But again, the fundamental was the same, to bring in the best possible flavors on a plate with the incredible ingredients that we all can be very proud and very sort of comfortable with serving that kind of quality dishes. So,
would you say that that's the fundamental philosophy of your cooking then?
yes, I believe that's my strong philosophy, is to keep Tom's spirit going at the restaurant and creating those wonderful dishes with the best ingredient possible we can bring into our restaurant. Freshness.
In this economic climate, how do you keep a high-end restaurant thriving for so long when many excellent restaurants have trouble surviving more than 3 or 4 years?
Well, because I'm a small family-run restaurant, I don't have too much overhead. I'm not in a corporate level. And I always know where to, being Armenian, you're a survival person, and you always tend to create the best out of nothing. But I wouldn't say out of nothing, because Chez TJ has been very successful time to time. We've gone through the economy up and down. But my idea was to always sustain that low overhead and not extend your expenses personally as well as employees.
I know when I got to know you 8 or 10 years ago that I'd see you in the basement doing the plumbing yourself.
Right.
So, and painting the walls as well.
That's another thing. I do everything at the restaurant, and I tend to sometimes scare some of my employees. Oh, George, don't go in the attic or don't go in the basement, you know, to try to pull out the stove and try to repair and everything. But that's the key. That's the key to success of that restaurant, that keeping overhead low.
Well, the tradition of Chez TJ here in Mountain View is looking like it will be living on for much longer. I think that having a place of this caliber to go for a pre-feast menu that is at such a high level and where the food is truly a work of art. I see it as much art patronage as it is going out for meals.
Well, thank you. I think it is to extend a place that chefs can paint their artistic food on a plate and create a wonderful meal.
And what now? Where is Chez TJ going now in the future?
Well, Chez TJ is like climbing a ladder. We're still climbing, and climbing in the direction of creating a better menu, better food, understanding a new sort of cuisine out there, and creating the new menus with new chefs.
And I understand that you have a new chef coming in.
I think the chef, Scott, is leaving, and his sous chef is taking over, Joseph, and he hopefully will create as wonderful food as Scott has, and learn about what's our next destination from Joey.
And this is Joseph Elenterio.
That's correct. Elenterio.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to trying Joseph's cooking.
Well, please do. It would be our pleasure to have you in. As it would be a pleasure for anyone who is interested in finding out about Chez TJ's food. Come on in and try it.
Well, as we move forward into the spring season, I'm sure we'll be seeing lots of new greens growing in the garden.
That's right. I have a wonderful gardener that she's always excited to bring in new sort of herb or new vegetable, new this and that, and grow it in there, all organic possible.
Excellent. Well, if people want to check out Chez TJ, they're located at 938 Villa Street in Mountain View. And
in an old Victorian house, and that's part of the sort of the charm of that restaurant is to be in an old Victorian house.
Oh, thank you, George.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure speaking.
Pleasure has been mine. Thank you.